Founded in 1932 by the visionary Indian business tycoon J.R.D. Tata, Air India initially operated under the name Tata Airlines. It quickly established itself as a national icon in the aviation industry, symbolizing India's aspirations and progress. However, in 1953, the Indian government nationalized the airline through the Air Corporations Act, a move spearheaded by the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, who also nationalized 8 other airlines. The airline's journey took a downturn around 2006, marking the beginning of significant financial troubles, often referred to as a recession or crisis. This period saw both Air India and Indian Airlines, which later merged with Air India, reporting combined losses. Unfortunately, these financial challenges intensified post-merger, culminating in staggering losses that reached 172 billion, approximately $850 billion by March 2009. The airline struggled to regain its former glory, highlights the complexity and challenges faced by national carriers in increasing competitive global market. In 2004, the introduction of 520 rule for airlines was a pivotal movement in the Indian civil aviation landscape. It emerged as a necessary response to the evolving global market, aiming to empower Indian carriers to compete effectively with foreign counterparts. This groundbreaking policy mandated that Indian Airlines must possess a minimum of 5 years of domestic operational experience and maintain a fleet of at least 20 aircraft before embarking on the international flights. This rule not only fostered growth within the aviation sector but also inspired resilience and ambition among Indian airlines. It was a call to action, urging them to rise above challenges and redefine their potential on the world stage. However, we must recognize that any attempt to downplay such foundational regulations can lead to significant setbacks, not just for the industry but for our nation's aspirations as well. Let us remember that our journey towards excellence is marked by the principles we uphold. Embracing the standards set by the 520 rule is essential for nurturing a thriving aviation sector that soar to new heights. Together, we can ensure that our airlines not only survive but truly thrive, paving the way for future generations to dream big and reach for the skies. By 2014, the 520 rule had been firmly entrenched a decade rather than adopting its regulation to foster better landscape. While all airlines to enhance their domestic fleet, the rule was finally replaced in 2016, eliminating requirement for airlines to possess 5 years of domestic experience before venturing into international markets, a move that many argued was long overdue, which stifled Air India much more than expected. In September 2012, Air India welcomed its inaugural Boeing 787 Dreamliner, a significant addition to its fleet during the challenging period for the national carrier. Just months prior to, National Auditor had issued a critical report regarding Air India's strategy of acquiring 111 aircrafts. Air India took a strategic step by signing agreements for the dry lease of 22 Airbus A320neo aircraft. These modern planes were slated for delivery by February 2017, indicating a forward-looking approach. In 2006, Air India made a significant commitment to its future by finalizing an agreement with Boeing for the procurement of 60 aircrafts, which included the iconic 777 and 787 at a staggering cost of $11 billion. Order was a comprehensive fleet renewal and expansion initiative aimed at modernizing Air India's operations. Additionally, the same year, Indian Airlines, which later merged with Air India, also expanded its fleet by acquiring 43 Airbus planes, further illustrating the aviation landscape dynamic nature in India. Understanding these pivotal movements in Air India's journey, valuable insights into complexity of airlines management and the strategic decisions that can shape the future of such entities. In 2007, the National Aviation Company of India (NACI) was established, making the merger of Air India and Indian Airlines. However, the road ahead proved to be rocky. By 2009, the airlines faced staggering losses amounting to $172 billion and accumulated 400 $26 billion debt and operational loss of $220 billion. Indian government bail out of 5.8 billion for Air India was approved in 2012, while its financial infusion was designed to help the airline recover from years of mounting losses. It fell short of reviving its fortunes entirely. Air India continued to grapple with financial challenges and was eventually privatized in 2022, with the Tata Group stepping in that reins. Despite its tumultuous history, Air India still holds a commendable market share of 17% in international services, the highest among Indian carriers. The share stands increased, especially with Jet Airways currently in financial quagmire and seeking a bailout. With a fleet of 114 aircraft, Air India operates 6,200 domestic and international flights. These slots are highly sought after at major airports and could be worth billions of rupees. Additionally, the airline's non-core assets and real estate holdings both in India and abroad are substantial. The value of land owned by airline exceeds 18,500 crores. Moreover, the India boasts one of the largest collections of painting, aircrafts and antique furniture in the country. Remarkably, the value of its assets is believed to surpass its debt burden. In the fiscal year 2015-16, Air India generated a revenue of 20,526 crores. By March 2015, the total debt of the airline stood at 51,367 crores. Continuous losses, including the adverse effects of exchange rate fluctuations due to weak Indian rupee. Despite these challenges, Air India managed to achieve most of its targets outlined in its turnaround plan, and even posted a profit in 2015-2016. But in 2009, the airline's historical significance has often overshadowed its potential for revival. Critics argue that the financial infusions were inadequate, even though the bailout was actually 0.8 billion more than the airline's actual debt. It's important to understand that the market share of an airline is directly tied to its capacity in the industry. While private carriers were allowed to expand their domestic capacity, Air India's fleet expansion failed to keep pace. This disparity led to a decline in market share from 17% in 2008-2009 to 14% in 2016, highlighting the challenges the airlines face in a competitive landscape. The issue confronting Air India in 2020 were exacerbated by its government status, operational inefficiency and legacy of financial losses. To truly turn around these things, Tata would have focused on modernizing the fleet, enhancing customer service and streamlining operations. Investing in new aircraft, upgrading existing ones and optimizing efficiency could have made a significant difference. In a noteworthy turn of events, the former owner of Air India placed a winning bid of 18,000 crore, about $3.39 billion, which was sold to highly $2.4 billion. However, the decision to privatize Air India, seen by some corrupt, could have been reconsidered, especially given the potential for an alternative solution of disinvestment of this national carrier, which many consider a soul of pride. After the bailout in 2015-2016, Air India managed to reduce the losses to 3,836 crore rupees. But in 2023-2024, the loss was 4,444 crores. The current leaderships need to maintain their reputation at the expense of earlier efforts. While the airline faced challenges in modernizing and revitalizing distractions like leasing new Boeing aircraft and navigating complex sales of used planes, addition to the woes in backdrop of accidents and conspiracies, the perception among voters became skewed, leading to blame directed at previous administrations that championed affordable fares, better amenities, expanded routes, and the preservation of national assets. In a tragic incident that underscored the risk associated with aviation, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner carrying 242 passengers and bound for Gatwick Airport tragically lost altitude seconds after takeoff and crashed, marking one of the worst aviation disasters in a decade. As we reflect on the journey of Air India, it is clear that challenges it faced were multifaceted and complex. The story continues to unfold, and the future of airlines remain a point of interest for